So feel free to download, to test, to get to give feedbacks. We are waiting for that, and we expect that it will be a great release. And Jörg, you can start the demo. Can you share your screen, or I think
I will
Fab
should follow you.
Okay. I like the DQMH Wiki.
You need to stop sharing your screen.
Oh yeah, it's not. Yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah, that there is this DQMH Wiki, Chris. There is not much stuff. We are debating if we keep it or if we put it on another form. I mean, we are not debating anymore, but maybe we should debate again. I don't know. Yeah, there is a few.
It's handy for these things. Maybe it doesn't become like the source of everything, but it's a handy way to do these kind of things.
So the license agreement is there presently, the downloads of the previous versions and the release notes. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Okay, so without further ado, please give a warm welcome to DQMH 6.1 Beta 1. Is that the name? I think it is. And yeah, a little bit more enthusiasm, please. So otherwise we'll just stop now. Okay. So I can't work like that, people. Okay. Anyhow, so the first thing that we'll see is that we finally got around to change the naming. I hope in all the places. So if and when you give 6.1 Beta 1 a try, please be on the lookout for any places where we have failed to replace Delacorp by DQMH Consortium. That would be a good help, but we're quite confident that we were very thorough. So let's take a look at the new, or at the Add New DQMH Module window, the wizard window, and this has.
You're not sharing your screen, or I can't.
I'm seeing it.
I'm seeing it,
Olivia. Yeah, maybe
okay.
You have.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Of side-by-side gallery, so you have the sticker.
Yes, that's. Okay. Excuse me.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, so
you would think that after all these 2 years of pandemic or whatever.
Don't start the discussion about Zoom.
But nobody was here who didn't hear us, or we couldn't hear them. So that was quite a high level of proficiency, I think. No audio problems, right? So we're good. Okay, anyhow. So looking at the new, at the Add New DQMH Module dialog window, we can see that this has gotten some love for this new release. We can see some new fields. So the first thing is that we now have a module description field, which Olivier likes a lot. Other people are not as enthused about it, but still it's a good thing to have, of course.
Is there a bug on the Is there a bug on the tip strip? Yeah, there is a bug on the tip strip.
Yeah. I just saw it. So maybe somebody can take a note. The description goes into the library file. So I don't know why I was expecting to see the description in the main VI, but of course it makes sense to put it into the library file. So if you put information here, it will go into the description field of the lblib of the module. So you can type stuff in here. The other thing that's new here, which gets me more excited, to be honest, is that we now can put the virtual folder names for the testers and for the modules. So we can already pre-select where these new modules will be put in terms of location within the project file. And I like that a lot because we have a different style or way of working or whatever to what Delacorp has had in mind originally. And so I had to change that for every module. Now my life is a bit easier. But what I've learned while discussing these things is that there are different situations, different scenarios. So it makes sense for sometimes to have a tester in one place, where for other projects you might want to group stuff differently. So I feel that it's very cool that we now have these fields where we can manipulate that and don't have to go into the project.
have a question, Jorg.
Yes.
Does the dialog box remember those settings? If you change them, will they remember it every time you bring it up? And is it just for the project, or is it like global, or how does that work?
It would be cool, right, if you didn't have to enter. That's true. So that would be probably something that's already in there.
That could be. Oh,
Of course it is. It
Yeah,
is in there, Stan.
But is that global, or is that per project?
It is global.
Okay.
So it
It's
is
in the lab UI and I file.
It's in the lab UI and I file.
Yeah.
But we don't stop there because we are going the full length, right? So what if I want to put my modules in a different folder physically on disk, which I do. So I've been using DQMH for, I don't know, 4 years now. How many modules have I created in a time? Hundreds. So hundreds of times I had to go and change that and move it or whatever. So now I can put my beloved modules folder in here. Do the same thing here. And now if I create it, it will be put in that location on disk.
Create it. Don't create it. Wait, don't
DQMH,
create it.
I
Don't create it.
I don't do that because it takes
Wait.
too long anyhow.
Yeah, but the virtual folder for the testers, you also put modules for both? You put
Yes.
the testers? Oh,
Because I want my tester to be exactly next to the module. So I can do that now.
okay.
And you can do differently because we have that level of flexibility now.
Right.
And I think this is an awesome new feature. I'm excited about that. And we don't stop there. That's still not enough. What if I want to have a subfolder here? Because I want that. I want my module to be in a folder that's called the same as the module. That's how I work. So just put it in there. Of course, we support nested paths here as well. So all of that is very cool. But that's not enough. What if I want to have my template do the same thing? Of course, the same thing goes for the template. So when you create a new template, you can store with the template where a new module that's created from the template should be put the next time you use the template. Phew, you say. So
So that would over the settings in the template would override the settings in the lab UI and I file, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Jorg earned his gold star.
So I really think that this is cool. That this makes my life easier, and I hope it does for you as well.
The module description going directly into Antidoc is really cool as well.
Exactly. This is why I love this feature, and it's really a simple feature, but it's great too.
Yeah.
Okay, but so
back to you.
new modules. Creating new modules is just very cool now. Another thing that I want to show briefly is this guy here. So let's add a new event to my module, right? And Bazinga, there we go. We're not perfect here, I realized when I prepared for the presentation, because it should have selected the name of the module where I'm at the moment. So that might go into 7.0, I guess, because I think that it just makes sense. But how cool is that?
Wait, how did you open that? How did you get there?
So the thing is, you need to know like the keywords, add event, rename event, and then you press Control E or whatever. Yes, it was quick drop. Sorry, dude.
Yep. Okay, cool.
It was like a magic trick. You were too fast.
Sorry. So I opened quick drop.
Well, that's the point, that it is fast, right?
Event. It was too fast to witness even. Yeah, exactly. I type add event into the quick drop, and now I press Control E, which is the shortcut that is the default one for this. And now the quick drop plugin will open up the add new event dialog.
That's nice. I like it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Of course, it's not in my muscle memory yet, but I feel like if you use it often enough, at least for the 2 or 3 most common things, will make a lot of sense to go through quick drop. So that's
we short it
cool.
to IE? Just go IE, Control E. That would be cool.
Most probably. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So maybe somebody can write that down as well, and we can take that back to the scripting ninjas and see.
We need to check if there's not already one that is the default, but you can also configure yours to do something.
It doesn't really matter because the Control E takes whatever string is here. So if another plugin uses the same, it's not a problem. So we can actually put AE without colliding.
And you want AE because it's at event, I guess.
Exactly, it's shorter.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
I do think so too. Thank you. And another thing that I want to show is the palettes. So now we are next to active framework here in the data communication palette. And in our DQMH palette, we have a few new VIs. So first of all, the about dialog.
Quick question there. Are we still on the add-ons as well? We should probably be on both palettes because the people that are already used to go to the add-ons. Yeah, so we're still there. Are we still there? Yes, good.
There we go.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking. Good question. So the first thing I want to show is the about dialog that we now have done with DQMH. So in case somebody doesn't have that yet, but that person still wants to adhere to the license agreement, which says you should put created with DQMH either in the documentation and or into your UI somewhere, we now make it easier to do that. So you don't have to go the extra mile anymore. You can just use the dialog that comes with DQMH. I mean, you can copy that, and most people will do that, but at least it's a starting point. So we feel like the barrier is now lower for people. So if I run that, we can see that it says, okay, DQMH, we have the link here, then we have some information in the bottom. We have the version number of DQMH, then we have that license string here for DQMH, and then we have another one for LabVIEW, which the NI license agreement at least strongly suggests. Few people, I think, are aware of that, but it is technically and legally a necessity to mention that somewhere. So we thought that, what if you don't want to use this about box because you have your own? Well, then you can use these new version constant VIs that we have put here. So you can use the version constant VI for the version info. That one would give you whatever's scripted into that version number. So finally, we have a VI that we can use to say which is the version of DQMH that I'm executing at the moment. And then we have the other one for the legal info, and it does a similar thing. So it outputs these two strings. So even if you have your own design in the about box, you can still use these VIs and be on the safe side, and it's very handy, I think.
Great. It's such a simple little thing, but that's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, I'm also looking forward to using that from now onwards. So I think that's cool too. And then one more thing I want just briefly show is the DQMH scripting on the palettes now. So in case you're...
Actually, I've got a quick question. Is there any EULA or a license, BSD or whatever that DQMH is following? Or and should it be readable from the about box?
So that's a good question, actually. It's nearly readable from the about box. The about box takes you to the website, but maybe there should also be another link that takes you to where we have the license published.
The ULI, yeah, we should probably put it as a smaller link at the very bottom. Yeah. So if somebody wants to actually go read it, make it easier.
So on the wiki, we have the thing, the license here. So probably we could link to this URL from the about box somehow. That's a good suggestion, Cyril. Thank you. Yeah, quickly about the scripting. So we do have some VIs now here that we can use in order to programmatically interact with DQMH. You can see we have the get DQMH modules in project VI.
And if you can show the context help at the same time, please.
Yes. So get DQMH modules in project. I think the name gives it away for most of those. Get the event VIs for a DQMH module. Get the callers of request VIs. That's cool. Get the VIs registered for the broadcast. Then we have the validate all DQMH modules in project VI and the obtain progress events. So these two, they work together, and I think there's an example hidden somewhere in VI lib. It will be in the documentation. What these two do is that you can run a headless validation for the DQMH modules, so programmatically, and then you can register for a event reference that shows you what the tool is doing at the moment. So it will take quite some time to go through all the modules, And if you have a tool where you want to show the progress, you can tap into these event references, similar to what the application builder API, for example, offers. So I like that because we use that, and that's very handy now. Makes it nicer for the user to see what's going on. So that's it from my side. I think those are the most outstanding features, and I think those are great. Consortium, did I forget anything that you think we should present?
There are a lot of other features. Just you'll have to go play with it and read the release notes.
Just quickly, the one important that I noted is the new validate test for broken VIs. So if your main VI or your tester VI is broken, there is a new test in the validation module.
And on the validation side too, you can now you have a way to ignore some tests that fail. So if you are using CI, it could be interesting to, for example, to ignore a non-reentrant VI in a clonable module. It should happen, and it's fine. You know that it's fine, but if your CI is validating this module, it's going to fail. And now
so you have this new manage ignored failures at the bottom left of the validation. Here, so yeah, we will.
You right click on the error. You can ignore this failure.
Yeah.
But it's an
Cool.
it's an advanced feature because some are ignoring the test for the module, the specific test for all the module, and for some specific tests you can ignore for one specific VI. The non-reentrant VI in clonable module is the one that I have in mind that could be really useful to use.
So you'll have to.
Is that a specific failure? That a specific one for that module, right? It's not all the failures that have that name. Is that correct?
There are both.
Yeah.
Oh, the ignore flag is set per module. That's what you meant?
Is it for all the modules, or is it that a specific one? So for example, if I have 10 requests that were the old request and wait for reply that didn't have the true input, when I say ignore this failure, is it ignoring the specific one that I'm right clicking on it, or is it ignoring all the request and wait for reply, the previous one, right? It just this specific one. It ignores this.
For those, the way I understand it, and I haven't of course looked at all the corner cases, but the way I understand it is for those failures that are not per module but per VI inside a module, it will ignore that specific VI. Okay. So that's what I read.
But yes, but you need to add a specific string in the description of this VI. You cannot manage it from the UI.
Yeah, that's why we have
too complicated.
Copy. Yeah, that's why we said it's copy.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you will have to read the documentation. We didn't update it so far, but yeah, just ask if you want to try. Just ask, and we will reply.
And the last one I would mention is the new show diagram on init. That is a new member of the module admin.
And I already used it 2 times this week, so it's good.
To be honest, I don't even know where to set that. I gotta say.
It's a request in the API tester. Go to the API tester.
Okay.
And you have that checkbox.
Sure, man.
There we go.
And not only that, it also has turn on highlighted, turn on retain values on wires.
I think
if we don't get a standing ovation for that one, I don't know what will.
I agree.
Actually, why is this not DQMH 8.0 instead of 6.1 with all these great features?
Oh, because but then wait, there's more.
There's one more thing.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I don't have one more thing. Sorry, guys. I think those were enough things.
Thank you,
Okay.
Jörg. It was great, I think.
Enrique, you did the test. Is there anything that was your favorite that we're missing?
Well, my favorite was the scripting tools and the launch with the block diagram enable. These new features, I think, are awesome.
And thank you so much, Enrique, for helping us, because it was like, I know it was under pressure. We really wanted to give like, all the trusted advisors, we want to give you as a Christmas present the access to the beta version. So we told Enrique, can you drop everything you're doing and do it?
Yeah.
And now if you want an excuse for avoiding your mother-in-law during the holidays, you can say, I need to do some tests on this some beta.
We
Not
can give
that
you
just saying.
Not that we're encouraging you to do that. We're just saying.
Of course we are. We can even give you a written excuse for your mothers-in-laws. I can do that.
Sign my family if you want. Yeah.
Okay.